Cristina Mas, Director of Marketing and External Affairs for Pointe Group. So I'm the Director of Marketing and External Affairs. It was a new title. I don't think they had someone in a director position. They had a marketing coordinator and someone that assisted with brochures and flyers and things like that, which is something that I also do. But when I came on, our company name was Pointe Group Advisors, and this Friday actually we're relaunching a rebranding to be Pointe Group Real Estate. So about 2 years ago, they changed our website to PGRE, our emails to PGRE, and it just we're trying to streamline our branding efforts in the community. So I came on to kind of assist with that and work on create social media. That's something we didn't have before. So kind of just strategize on how to make Pointe Group better known in our community. External affairs, I think, kind of encompasses our sponsorships, our events, business development, so going out in the community, making sure we have someone out there at the chamber events, showing that Pointe Group is involved in our community, going to the bid, supporting not only Coconut Grove, but Miami in general, Coral Gables, Doral. We have buildings and tenants all throughout Florida, so it's really important that we have a footprint statewide.
Why did you pick Pointe Group to work for?
Pointe Group picked me.
Ah, okay.
My first job was at St. Stephen's across the street. I had come back from college and got a job there as an assistant to the head of business development and fundraising. And my current CEO, Peter Gardner, was a dad there and still is a dad there. And he and I stayed in touch over the past 5 years. And one day he called me and we had coffee and he was like, "What are you good at and what do you want to do?" And I told him and he was like, "Perfect, that's what we're looking for." And he hired me 2 weeks later.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
What are Pointe Group's social?
Before I came on, we had no social media at all. I think we had LinkedIn, but it wasn't very active. So I came in and just really reactivated our PR as well. We had a PR firm, but I think it was being a little underutilized. So we've been really active about making sure that our brokers are talking to them, and as well as getting that in the news, then using our social media avenues as ways to put it out into the greater community. So now we have Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram.
Okay. Do you work with the PR company?
I do. So I'm the contact with Krebs, Maria, who's our PR agency, and they're fabulous. So now, we try to I talk to them on a weekly, sometimes daily basis, and just trying to get our brokers to talk to them as well, and getting our deals out there and making sure that the community knows what we're doing, and just a little shameless self-promotion. We're in a completely new age. I think this is a digital age. Many people aren't, buying books anymore, buying newspapers. Everything is digital. I think a lot of it has to do with the technology. I also think a lot of it has to do with our green footprint of everyone trying to be a little bit more eco-friendly. And it's just easy. It's easier. I mean, I find out, for example, the shark attack that just happened in South Africa with Mick Fanning. I found out on Facebook before I even saw the Anderson Cooper show or saw it on the news. And I still watch the news and read the news, but really I get it in an email form. But I think it's just a digital age, and you have to, that's the way people are receiving their information these days.
Yeah.
Even my mom. I mean, my mom loves Facebook. She's all about it. She's like, "Oh, did you see this on Facebook?" I'm like, "No." I think that just the way that we're changing and millennials and the way that youth is receiving information is different. For example, my dad will read the New York Times website, and I sign up for something called the Skim, which skims the international headlines and gives it to me in one easy-to-read email, so I don't have to go and read one entire email, one entire article on one entire incident. And then, so everyone is trying to get more quicker and faster. And kind of have more of a diversified, I think, mindset. So you can talk about what's happening in Iran. You can talk about what's happening in South Carolina. You can talk about Bernie Sanders and what happened with Donald Trump and Senator Graham. Instead of just having one more. Yeah. Plus, we don't have time anymore. Who has time for it?
So the efficiency of it gives you more information.
Yeah, and I definitely think you look around, you go to an airport and you see all these kids with iPads. It's all iPads. Nobody's talking to each other. I go to dinners all the time and I see two couples sitting across from each other on their phones. Nobody talks. There's no communication.
How do you track if the Pointe Group's customers and potential customers use social media?
So I think that's something a little difficult to gauge. What I do gauge is how many followers we're getting on a daily basis, but that's something that I just track because Twitter will send you an email on a daily basis if you get someone new, and then I'll tweet at them. Facebook does a really good job about sending weekly emails, so it'll tell you how many users you engaged this week versus how many users you engaged last week, how many new likes you have, how many likes you had last week, and kind of just give you a little bit of analytics based on your company's page. LinkedIn does something similar, but not as frequent as Facebook does. And Instagram, really, it's just your amount of followers. And there's a science to Instagram. There's a little bit of a strategy. I read a lot of articles about it on the best times to post, especially if you're trying to get Pacific time versus Eastern Standard Time. And it's something that changes. So, for example, and I tell this to a lot of my friends that have businesses, Sunday nights and Monday mornings are some of the best times to post because people are reliving the weekend and are really having the Monday blues. So they want to see everything that happened on the weekend, Sunday night. They're winding down, they're getting ready for Monday. And Monday morning, they're still having a little bit, they're having their coffee. They're like, oh man, such a great time, and not really wanting to come back into reality.
Are you able to determine how effective your social media strategies are?
Other than what I just told you about, there's really, I think I've found it to be, I think it's been pretty good. I mean, ever since I've started, I've heard, and I think some other people in the company have heard too, that they've seen what we've been doing on social media. We've really also been ramping up our emails and our constant contact, making sure we're doing at least bi-weekly e-blasts, not only about our properties. So kind of just trying to, and getting more email addresses. I mean, you're always wanting to update your database and make sure that you have the most current database. And that's why I think social media is really good sometimes. And the best thing that you can have is someone share something. So I think it's really important that Pointe Group stays at the forefront of the deals that we're doing. So if we have a new tenant, we want to be the first person to release that tenant, and then I'm going to share it on my personal page and hope that someone else then shares it on their personal page because they live in the Grove or they love the Grove and they're so excited for a new restaurant to come or a new hair salon, whatever the situation may be.
If you originally studied criminal justice, were you intending to go into the field?
So my mom's a lawyer, and so I thought I wanted to be a lawyer like my mom, and then I decided I didn't. So I actually got, I'm certified to teach English because I wanted to go to China and go teach English for 2 years. But the program that I had wanted to apply to while I was in the process changed their regulation on teaching visas. So I would have had to teach English in the States for a year to then go to Shanghai and do it there, which is not what I wanted to do, and my mom wanted me to come back home, and I'm an only child, so like a good little Latin girl, I came back,